subscribe, this is where you wanna be, cause you know we gon' talk about it. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. Get in here, we in here tonight. So get in here, we in here to vibe.
I'm coming, y'all. I'm coming. I thought I put it on loop. I guess I did not put it on loop, honey. Hey, y'all. Hey. Hold on, babies. Hold on. Wait a minute. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Hold on. Woo! We about to get into it, honey. Y'all, where I'm at? It say I'm on the stage. Can y'all hear me? Hold on. Let me figure out what I did. What did I do? Hmm. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Thumbs up if you can hear me, because I can't see myself. Oh, you know what? I done did this shit again, y'all. All right. I'm here, y'all. I'm here. It is Friday. It is Friday. Look, I like to grab this thing right here. Hold on, y'all. I love to grab on my microphone. It is Friday, y'all. All right, listen. Before we get into this story, make sure y'all hit the like buttons. I only got 69 people riding with me tonight. Only 69 of y'all riding with me tonight. But I need y'all to do me a favor, honey. Because where there is a will, there is a way, baby. And honey, we are figuring out other ways of doing things. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all understand what I'm saying? She said, we see that beautiful face. Thank you, Sandra. So I'm about to put up something. I need y'all to test it out for me. Listen, y'all know my Cash App got taken. Hold on, let me take it down and talk to y'all. My Cash App got taken. It was deactivated. It was reported, okay? I don't know who did it, but it was reported. So I got to figure out another way to still be able to get, support and stuff like that. So I'm going to put this overlay up. It's like a QR code. Just put your phone up, act like you're taking a picture. Y'all know how to do a QR code. And try to send like $1 or something like that. I just want to know if it works, okay? Can y'all help a sister out? All right, here we go. I'm going to put it up. I saw another content creator do this, and I was wondering how it worked. So I need to find out if it works, okay? Before we, move forward, okay? So I'm going to put this overlay up. First of all, tell me if you can still hear me, because I don't even know if you can still hear me. I don't know if overlay being up, if you can hear me or not. So tell me if you can hear me, first of all. Thumbs up if you can hear me. I think you can, because I can still see myself like behind this thing. Can y'all still see me, or do y'all just see the overlay? I don't know how that works, because like I see my hands, but I see the overlay, right? So try to send like $1 or something like that, and let me see if it works. I just want to know if it works, okay? Because if it does, then this is going to be, instead of getting Cash Apps, this is how I will get support when y'all want to send me a Cash App. Y'all just send it this way. And I think you can still pay with Cash App, but it won't come to me via Cash App, okay? Oh, she said, we see what you see. Okay, cool. All right. So y'all see the overlay. So I'm going to wait till a payment come through so I can see if it works. And I don't know if it ding, ring. I don't know how it go. Okay, so I got a payment from Sonia. Okay, Sonia. All right, now Sonia, if you in the audience, was it hard? What did you have to do? Can you just write down what did you have to do? Like, did you just push a button, or did you have to put a whole lot of information in there? Let me know if it made you fill out a lot of stuff, or was it just as easy as using Cash App? Because I just want to make this thing simpler. She said, I scanned it with my camera and sent it with Apple Pay. Oh, for real? Okay, so it can use Apple Pay. Okay, cool. All right, you guys. So this will be the way. Instead of, she said it was easy peasy. Thank you so much, Sonia. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Listen, if you guys want to support the channel, she said, let me wait a minute. Let me wait a minute. Okay. If you want to support the channel outside of what you guys already do, which I appreciate y'all. Let me take this down. Well, hold on. You know what? Let me do it like this. Well, I don't know if you can do it like this. Can you? Well, let me see something, y'all, because it's an overlay. I'm trying to figure out, can I put this up and you see my face at the same time? She says, I don't have Apple Pay. So it's not just Apple Pay. Somebody without Apple Pay, try it for me. Somebody without Apple Pay. Somebody without Apple Pay. Because I think you could do it without Apple Pay. I see a few people try to do it and it says fail. I'm not sure why it's saying fail. The one that said fail, tell me why, tell me what it's saying, the reason why it failed. It's telling me on my end, but tell me what is it telling you on your end, why it failed? I think you just said I don't have Apple Pay. I don't think you have to use Apple Pay. I think you can use several different payment methods. She says, I use Google Pay. Will it let you use Google Pay on here? I see one that says failed, and I'm just trying to figure out. It gives you the option of paying with a debit card. Okay. Hey, Miss Glenn. She said, I'm late. I'm here and late as usual. Oh, I got 97 people in here. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up. We just trying to outsmart the cat, y'all. That's all we doing here. I want to talk to, I don't know if this person is in here. The one that did the $2 and it failed. It came from a Scott. Are you in here, Scott? If you could just tell me what did you do for it to fail? Is that you, Sonia? The Scott person. See, I'm getting some incompletes. I just need to know why it say incomplete. I got 1, 2, 3 incompletes. She said, I just paid with my debit card and it went through also. Thanks, Sonia. I'm gonna refund you back that last one, okay? Because I'm just testing it out. Oh, is that you, Melinda? That it keeps saying incomplete? She said, I use Google Play. I'm not sure. It said incomplete. On my end, it just says incomplete and it says unknown. It don't say why. It just says incomplete. That's it. And then one says failed. So can you just tell me what you guys are using? So I know that, okay, Sonia, thank you. So I just know what to tell people not to use. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 incompletes now. I guess you guys are trying to send $1 and it's saying incomplete. I see 3 $1 incompletes and 1 $2 incomplete. She said, is there a way to do it while we're using our phone? Yes, you just act like you're going to take a picture with your camera and scan this code. Like you're going to take a picture with your camera. I got another incomplete. What's going on, y'all? I don't know what this means. It just keeps saying incomplete. The only ones that came through is Sonia and Trevi. TV, Joyce. The person cannot accept right now is what mine is saying. Oh, because you try to do Cash App? Oh, okay. I think I know what I need to do. All right, hold on. Hold on 1 second. I think I know what I need to do. That's what it's doing. Okay, hold on. I think. Give me a minute, y'all. I think I know what I need to do. All right, for those that's trying to send it for Cash App, hold on 1 second. I know what I need to do. She said, when I paid with my debit, it sent a code to my phone at the end that I had to enter. Okay, hold on 1 second then. I think I know what I need to do. Hold on, let me unhook this Cash App right here. Wait 1 second. Let's figure out how to do it. Okay, hold on. Just a little housekeeping right here. Other payment methods. Let me see how to do that. I gotta unhook the other Cash App, y'all. That's what I think I need. I need to do settings, payment methods. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Okay. So hold on 1 second, y'all. Let me figure this out right fast. She said, are you guys paying for memberships? Who are you asking that to, Kim? Who are you asking, are you guys paying for memberships? You talking to me? Okay, let me turn off. It says Cash App enable customers to frictionless, authentic payments in Cash App. Use their stored balance or link. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this off. All right, I'm turning this off. No, Adrian, don't send Cash Apps. You must didn't hear me earlier. You must didn't hear me earlier. They got my Cash App, so I'm trying to figure out how to turn it off over here. I got to turn it off. I got to figure out how to turn it off. Oh, I wish it was just as easy as just turning it off. How do you turn the Cash App off? All right, so give me a minute, y'all, because I got to disconnect it somehow. I got to figure out how to do that. I know it's a way, because how did I connect it in the first place? Confirmation, Cash App pay. Wait, don't you think it should say no? Okay, turn on, leave feedback. Oh, I can't even, what? I didn't even know I activated all of this. When did I do that? I don't even know what a WePay is. This is what it says I have connected, which I don't know how. It says Cash App, Apple Pay, WePay, debit card. But I'm going to turn off the Cash App right quick and then add a different Cash App. Oh, got it. I know how to do it. Yeah, okay. She said it's the QR code that's in Cash Apps, so no janky shit can go on from the haters. Okay, hold on, but let me disconnect the old Cash App. I got to disconnect the old Cash App from this payment platform and add the other one. That's what I need to do. There's more than one way to skin a cat. You know what I mean? I'm sure y'all heard that expression before. It's more than one way. You know how sometimes people just think that they got the best of you or whatever. And that's even if it was done, which I'm gonna say, yeah, but you already know what it is. Y'all already know what it is. Y'all know what it is. But there's more than one way of doing things. But I seen, do y'all watch what's the lady name? Uh, what is that lady name? I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but she uses these QR codes and stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Uh she went on that retreat with Kevin. Do y'all know who I'm talking about? She's a lady. She got short hair. I can't think of her name, but she used a whole bunch of QR codes. And that's where I saw that. I was like, okay, let me see what she got going on. Okay, here it goes. Go here. If I think of her name, I'll tell you, but I can't think of it right now. You know one thing, when you don't know how to do something, all you got to do is Google it. So let me see. Um, hmm. I think it's probably some type of integration I need to do or undo. She said, I try and can't do it on my phone. Yeah, because you're trying to do Cash App, right, Sandra? It's not you, it's me. I gotta unhook this Cash App. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna figure this out. And if I don't figure it out right now, I will when I get off, I will figure it out. And let y'all know. But I know it's in here somewhere. Because I'm the one set all this stuff up. I just gotta figure out how did I do it. Okay. Mm, wallet, card. Mm. Anyway, I don't know how to do it right now, but I just probably got to do some reading because I just need to unhook that one and hook this other one back, but I don't know how I did that. Let me just try one more thing. Oh, here you go. Let me see. Okay. Mm, this thing seemed hard. All right. I'll figure it out later because it looked like it's asking me for some type of codes or some crap. I don't know how to do that. I don't remember doing this before. Okay, payment method integration. Anyway, I'll figure it out. So for those that's doing Cash App, you have to hold off because I don't know how to do it. She said, try signing out of your old Oh, you know what? I didn't think about that. Okay, hold on. I did not think about that, but hold on one second. Miss Scott Pearl, can you tell me how did you just send this? How did you just send this? Tell me in the comments how did you send this? And let me do what she just said, sign out of my old Cash App. All right, hold on, y'all. It just seems like it was something more simpler. All right, I just signed out. It was so it was so simple. It was like click, 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 and it was done. She said, do you have a burner or another phone? I mean, I have who, me? Or somebody, are you talking to somebody else? She said, I tried and can't. Uh, yep, on YouTube. She said, or YouTube it. I know, right? YouTube it or Google it. I have a whole bunch of fails. So if you're doing Cash App, it's failing for some reason. So I'm trying to figure out how to hold on, y'all. I got all these fails. Yeah, I have a new Cash App. I'm just trying to figure out how do I unlink this Cash App, the one that I have, and put the new one on. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Because I have a Cash App, a new one, but I don't want to say it out here. So that's why I'm trying to figure out how to unhook that one, unhook the old one, and put the new one. Does anybody know how to do that? Does anybody know how to unhook the old one? I hit turn off, but that didn't do. Oh, wait a minute. This might be it. Okay, hold on. Okay, wait. Okay. No, that's not it. She said, what happened to your Cash App? Well, exactly what you told me was going to happen. Caramel cutie. Exactly what you got in my inbox and told me to be careful of. Click on your picture, then go to link banks. Okay. See, I knew we were going to have somebody smart in there. Okay, click on my picture. And then go to, hold on. I don't see link banks. Oh, hold on. Click on my picture. And then go to, I see subscription, invoices, quotes, payment links. Oh, payment links. Is that it? Terminal reader, connect. Oh, connect maybe. No, that's not it. Let me go back. Let me do what you just said. You said, I don't see where it says you have to unlink that card. Okay, hold on. Let me do it this way then. When you said click on my picture, are you talking about on Cash App? All right, hold on. Look, we getting a class up in here, honey. We getting a class. Click on my picture. I do see link banks. That's not what I'm trying to do though. Or is it? I don't think that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to edit. It says to remove your bank card. All right, hold on. Somebody just sent me some instructions. Oh, shoot. I didn't know it was all y'all sent me this. Three-dot icon. Three-dot icon. All right, hold on. Let me follow these directions. All right, I'm gonna do it later, y'all, because I think it's telling me I need to do some other stuff. So I'm gonna do it later. Don't worry about it. If you're doing the Cash App thing, don't do it because it's not gonna work for Cash App. It's only gonna work for debit card. So this URL only works right now for Apple Pay, debit card, and some other, but it does not work for Cash App. So you cannot pay with Cash App on this one today. Okay. but I will fix it and we will try it again tomorrow or something like that, okay? So let me remove this because it is, and let me just see one more thing. Let me just see for those that did send it, because I want to still be able to know if I can holler y'all out. Hold on. That was something else I wanted to know. Hold on. Well, so let me tell you what it does. It gives me your email address. So your name that's in your email address, I will be able to say that name. No, it was another way. Because I was saying, is that you, Sonia? Oh, yeah, because I saw S Grand. So if I give y'all a shout out, like say for instance, Scott Pearl. Are you in here, Scott Pearl? Is that like your real name? Oh, so you could put your name in there. So it looked like 1, 2, 3 people put their name in there and one person did not. Did you just send us down? So look, we're gonna do this another day. We're gonna do this. So let me take this off. Oh shoot. There we go. There we go. We're gonna try that tomorrow or maybe Sunday or Monday. We're gonna try that another one because what I need to do is I need to unhook the old Cash App and put the new one on. She said yesterday, I think. Okay, I'll check. I probably just didn't check, Rose. So I need to undo my old Cash App and add my new Cash App to this platform. And once I do that, I'll let y'all know, okay? So look, we are on, yesterday we stopped at episode 36. Do y'all remember? 36. She said, just sign out. I thought I did though. But so wait a minute. Let me ask you something, Carmel. Is deleting the app, is that like signing out? Because that's what I did. I deleted the app. She said, just when I downloaded Cash App for you people want to report. You still gonna be able to use Cash App. You will be able to use it. It's just that I won't show my number. You won't be able to know what number my Cash App is. It'll be a QR code is what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? Like you guys won't know my Cash App. It would be oh. I got something else, I think. Oh, you know what? Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Let me see something. Y'all making me think. You making me think. And that's why now, that's probably why old girl does this. All right, let me see something. Hold on. She said, I know the question to Google, you shouldn't use the Cash App until they, I don't know what that means. Until what? She said until something. Until they what? Straight in the system? All right, hold on, y'all. I think I got another option. Hold on. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. I'm figuring this out. Don't go nowhere. Let me just see something. Let me see something. Think I might be cooking with Crisco. I think I might be cooking with Crisco. Crisco. Okay. So that, and then, hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Y'all gotta tell me what y'all see on this one. Because I have no idea. No idea what y'all gonna see. All right, let me see what I see. Let me see what I see when I do this. There's no way I can get around that then. I have another way, but hold on. Download. All right. We'll figure this out, y'all. I got another way, but that ain't gonna work either. We'll figure this out. Listen, we will figure this out. She said, you gotta sign out. Carmel Cutie, I'm gonna call you afterwards so we can talk because I don't know what I'm doing. And I know you know. So I'm gonna call you afterward, okay? So just stay up. Don't go to sleep. She said, check your inbox. Hold on. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, give me a second. Whose birthday? Whose birthday today, y'all? Whose birthday? No, the story has not been postponed. We can ready to do it in just a second. We're gonna break it down in just a second. Whose birthday? Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, girl. How old are you? 15, 18? How old are you, girl? 21? 35? Child, you know. We was all 35. Okay, you said to log out. Okay. Let me remove these cards first. Remove. And now sign out. Okay, I just signed out. Oh, you'll be 53 tomorrow. Happy birthday, big sis. You my big sis, girl. My big sis. Happy birthday, girl. She said, read the entire message. Okay, I'll read it. Rose said, read the entire message, girl. Okay. Okay, I just did. I did, Rose. I did. I did what you said. So let me see if I could do it now. Let me see if I could do it now. Let me see. I think I might got it. 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 Hey. It says to get started, see accept payments. Learn how to accept. Okay. Okay, let me see. We need some Friday night music is what we need. We need some Friday. Let's have a good time. Do you want to party? It's Friday. All right then. Okay. I think I might be cooking with Crisco. Turn on. Hold on. Hold on. It's telling me to link it, but I don't know how I'm supposed to link it. Listen. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna do this later. Cause you know what? It's telling me I gotta get started and then do this and then do that and then do this, then do that. And it looked like it's a I'm gonna do that later. That look like it's gonna jog my head, honey. All right, y'all. We're gonna do it afterwards. Okay. We are going. Okay, I'm gonna call you, Rose, afterwards, and we'll set it up afterwards. Okay. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna set it up afterwards. Okay. All right, y'all. Let's go. Let's go. But in the meantime, if you want to support the channel, you have to use your debit card. It's like taking it right out of your bank account. It is not coming out, or either your debit, Apple Pay. Just don't use Cash App right now. Just right now until tomorrow, after we set this up. But you can use debit, Apple, Google Pay, and whatever other pay, but not Cash App. Cash App is gonna bounce back, and I'm gonna get all these errors. Okay. All right, y'all, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. So we left off yesterday. We left off on finding out that this brother got a twin. Yes, we found out he had a twin. We found out he don't have no sisters. We found out that the brother that he was calling his younger brother is actually his twin. We found out that his twin nor his older brother don't F with him whatsoever, okay? We found out that his grandparents didn't pass away from COVID. They've been gone since 2008, okay? So again, we found out that this brother is a pathological liar. We already knew that anyway. But we're finding out that some of the things that he lied about is just so absurd. We found out that, of course, we already knew this, that the stepdaughter, which is his ex-wife's child, is not deceased. She ain't went and met her maker. Tressa, how we say her name? Teesa have contacted the ex-wife and have talked to the ex-wife, okay? So now we are on episode number 37. Episode number 37. Y'all ready? Are y'all ready? I need to know that you guys are ready to get back into this. I know a few of y'all have reached out to me and said, I didn't see it all and it's going to be so good, but I need to know, are y'all ready? She said, Amor, that lady Reesa Teesa will be on the Tamarind Hall talk show on Monday. Yeah, girl, she bringing it. She bringing it. Okay, here we go. Brace yourself. I haven't seen it.
Hearing is correct. He drove from Georgia to Philly, stayed in Philly for about 3-4 days, left Philly, drove back to Georgia, went to Augusta. Keep in mind, if you have lost your notes at this point, he was raised in Philly and did high school in Augusta before he went to California. So he has family in Augusta. So at this point, he's on his way to Augusta to stay with a new set of people. The reason why this is important is because what I have is a divorce settlement agreement. That divorce settlement agreement has to be signed by the two of us, where we are basically telling the court, look, this is what he's keeping, this is what I'm keeping. I need his signature. Let me repeat that. I need his signature because I wanted a very quick and painless divorce, as much as it could be. So by this time, this is now...
Well, y'all know she really don't need his signature, but she don't know that because you can get a divorce within 30 days. After filing and after putting it, maybe, I don't know, should I say this, but after filing and putting it in the paper, if they don't respond, you could be divorced in 30 days. Thank you, Cheryl, girl. You got me one just like this, girl. You sure did, baby. But she don't need his signature. Actually, she just thinks she does, okay? Well, anyway, but let's just go.
Around June 25th. So around June 25th, he's now in Augusta. He had left the house June 17th. So between June 17th and June 24th is the trip to Philly, then leaving Philly, coming to Augusta. My aunt and my little cousin get in the car with me, and I drive to Augusta with a rag on my head, some sweatpants, and a tank top because it's July, so it's hot. But we ride to Augusta. I had spoken to him. I had said, I just need you to sign this piece of paper. And he was like, I'll get to it when I get to it. No. We're going to get to it as quickly as possible. So if that means I got to drive to Augusta tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, I'm going to do that because I need that signature. I ain't telling this. This was my attitude. Sure enough, went ahead, drove down there. I met him at the UPS store in Augusta. It's in the same Kroger shopping center. They had a notary there because I needed the papers to be notarized. So he pulls up. It's only been a week since I last saw him. It has been months since my aunt saw him. Okay? She had no idea of the condition that he was in. Again, I'm telling y'all, when I met him, when he met my family, he he was like a size 3X. In just a short span of time for a week, he easily could have been in an extra large, maybe even a large, but was wearing 3X clothes. So he has told me this whole time, he didn't know I had spoken to his family. Okay, probably need to put that in there. He did not know I had spoken to his cousin. So he was telling me that he had a place to stay. He was staying with some family members, and everything was cool. He told me he was going back to Augusta because he had a job. That's what he told me. The family member, the cousin, told me, oh no, it's not that he had a job. We kicked his ass out because he's still lying. And we don't want anything to do with him. Mm-hmm. So when I saw him get out the car, I immediately knew, you probably have not washed in 3 days. I'm not overreacting. His nails had not been cut, so his nails were a bit long. He smelled like the Chattahoochee dump on a hot summer Georgia day. He stunk so bad.
She putting him out there. Do you hear me? Now I'm seeing why this brother is getting mad. Do you hear me? She just put him out there. She telling the world this joker stink. Stink. What woman gonna get with him? Another desperate one. This brother stank. She said he smelled, y'all. She said he smelled real bad, honey, like the Chattahoochee something. Swamp. She said he stank, y'all. That's what she said. Smelled real bad. Who gonna date him, y'all? Who gonna date him?
And for a moment, I did not recognize the man that I was legally married to. I did not recognize him. He almost looked, what's the word? Emaciated. If I may be mispronouncing it, but the way someone looks when they've lost so much weight and it's almost like your skin and bones. He looked homeless. He smelled homeless. And my heart just kind of broke. It kind of did. I'll be honest, it kind of broke. It did not break enough for me to not get that signature though. So when he walked into the UPS store, you clearly could see that some of the people were like, let me get away from him. Me, I just was like, okay, so I just need you to sign right here, and I just need you to sign right there. Okay, and then a woman named Lauren came over and notarized the papers, and then we were done because he signed the divorce agreement. He didn't even read it. Reason why I'm pointing that out is because he didn't read the part where what's left in the house now belongs to me. Where he took technically what he was going to take. Everything else in that home belongs to me. Remember, I told y'all he had left all his Invicta watches. He had left all his WWE championship belts, his Jordans, a lot of his clothes, his Cole Haans. He had left all that stuff. He never even read the divorce agreement. So he signed it. I signed it. Lauren notarized it. We leave the store and I said, have you eaten? And he was like, yeah, I ate. It's just, my knee. So again, he's talking about the knee, but if you saw him, you would know there's way more to it than the knee. So I said to him, look, since you met me here, let me give you some money so you can get you some chicken nuggets. Yeah, that's what I said. You can get you some chicken nuggets. So I believe I gave him like $5 or $6. Go get you some chicken. I think I Zelled it to him, actually. Just go get you some food. Then because where he parked was not far. It was like, okay, I'm parked here. He's parked in front of me in the other row. So there's that aisle that you can drive down. So I walked him to the car. And I saw the condition of the inside of the car. And that's when I knew he's been living in his car.
Oh, wow.
He's been living in his car. So clearly, I no longer had a question of, so where's this offshore account? Where's the U.S. bank savings account? Where's the checking account? Didn't have.
But what about the 15,000 and the 9,000 that he had in his account? Did he run through that? Because she saw the 9,000 and the 15,000, right?
Have that question anymore, because if you had money, you wouldn't be living in your car. You would not be in the same clothes that you were in when you left my house on June 17th. And this is now June 25th. So he was like, I'm gonna be all right. I'm about to start a new job. I'm gonna be cool. I got a family member I can stay with. Everything's gonna be okay. All right. I said, I will let you know when the divorce is granted. I said, I will send you a copy of the divorce decree. And he was like, okay. He said, well, how long you think that's going to take? I said, I'm not sure. I thought I had to wait 30 days before I could file the divorce agreement settlement form. And then the judge would grant it in 30 days. So basically, this is like June 25th. I'm looking at the end of August that it would take for the divorce to be granted, assuming there were no hiccups, assuming he didn't decide he was going to pull a fast one. So I told him, I was like, I'm going to file this, and then once we get the divorce decree, I'll send you a copy. He said, okay. He got in his car. I got in my car. I drove all the way back home, and he went to wherever he went. Next part is the next series of lies that I was faced with.
All right, y'all. So I guess we're gonna find out real soon what happened to that 9,000, that 15,000, because he showed her 2 accounts, y'all. He ain't been gone that dang on long. He went up to new upstate. What was it? Wherever he went up to, Pennsylvania, wherever he went. And then they sent him back. So now they just sent him back to Augusta or Philadelphia, wherever it was. Now he back in Augusta and he homeless. 15,000 and plus 9, what is that? 24,000? That's pretty good. You know, to get you something, apartment, a small home, a townhome, something, a hotel, Motel 6, something. Here we go, y'all. Thank you, Cheryl. Y'all hit that thumbs up button. We're on episode 38, y'all.
All right, part 38 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? I'm going to call this Housekeeping and Missing Pieces. So, housekeeping. First and foremost, as much as I know you all have enjoyed this series, and some of you have told me how entertaining you have found it, the story will be done this weekend. So, in other words, I don't care how many parts I gotta film, it will be done this weekend. We're not going to drag it into the new week. So I just want to let everyone know that. So please be sure to tell your sisters, your mamas, your aunties, your cousins, your best friends, hey y'all, go ahead and watch all the parts, because she's saying she's wrapping it up this weekend. But I'll leave the playlist up, so don't worry. Also, let's see. I'm sorry for the people who were like, I keep talking really slow. I didn't know that I was, and they're like, you're just long-winded. I'm very detailed. So that's probably what you're feeling, is that I'm detailed and I'm trying to get everything out, again, in a responsible manner.
How's somebody gonna tell her that she talked too slow on her story? They gonna have to listen to it. People got the nerve to try to check you on some shit that they can clearly swipe left and go to somebody and listen to somebody else's channel. They got the nerve to tell her, speed it up now, speed it up, speed it up. Are you serious?
So, you all have asked me if I will do a live. Yes, I will. I don't have any issue doing a live. I feel like if you're going to put the story out there, you know you're going to get questions. So if you stand on business and you stand on what you said, do the live. So yes, I will do a live, and I will let you all know when I'm gonna do a live. So it won't just be some random shit. I will actually do a live and let everyone know. So that way, if you have questions, bring them. The issue with doing a live is that I need moderators. So because I just anticipate a lot of people have questions and I'm just one person, and I don't want to be accused of she's ignoring my question, which means there's holes in her story. Y'all, we all know how TikTok is. So, but I will absolutely do a live. That's the housekeeping. Missing pieces. So when I said before that it's important to me that I'm responsible in how I tell this story, meaning I'm clear and I go in detail, I realized that I left out some missing parts. And it was brought to my attention by a number of you. Thank you, because I'm all for accountability. I did not go into how my ex-husband, Legion, left the condiment company and then went to Apple. I also did not go into detail on when my mom came to visit. Both of those were in the month of April. I was going to go into detail a little bit more on the Apple situation because, as you probably have figured out, of course something came out later on. But nevertheless, in terms of April of 2021, my mom came for a visit. She lived in Arkansas. She came to visit us. She came to visit us after we had that whole sexting on Facebook incident and just after we had started marital counseling. There were no fireworks during her visit. Nothing was weird. I did talk about how, my family has always been there. And if you spoke with my mom, she would tell you she didn't see anything out of the ordinary. But there was something in her spirit that just didn't sit right. She didn't talk to me about it at the time. She did not raise her concerns. She simply, when she came to visit, we welcomed her with open arms. Legion was excited to meet her. She was excited to meet him. We took my mom out to eat. It was a typical, very quiet, non-active visit. I didn't know what my mother thought until later on. So she didn't share with me during the visit, something don't seem right. She and I sat in the guest room talking. I never told her anything that was going on. Number one, because again, it goes back to that mindset of what happens in my marriage needs to stay in my marriage. And I talk about how I didn't think looking back, it was not a good idea that I told my aunt what had happened. My aunt is not the type that's going to tell my mother. That in other words, if you confide in her, she keeps it between you and her. So my mom never knew that there were any issues. And so there was nothing for her to be on mama bear mode. Had she known, this would have been a very different trip, but she didn't know. So she did come to visit. Everything went fine. He and I put on a united front. Oh, we're so happy. We're so, in love. And yes, behind the scenes was a whole different story. He talked to her about how he was looking to buy a house and how he told her how work was going, how his job, how his job was going, bragging as usual, which I did tell my mom, look, he's going to talk about himself and money a lot. So, just change the subject. If he brings up a house, change the subject. That was my instructions to her because I was like, I don't even want to get into the whole house situation. So other than that, uneventful. Now, once my mom left, this is still in April, everything was fine with him at the condiment company. As far as I knew, everything was fine. What ended up happening is he randomly came home one day and starts complaining about changes that are going on at the company. When he started complaining about those changes, it was things like, keep in mind, he is not VP of the company. He was VP of, I keep getting it wrong, but I think it was VP of production is what the memo says. So he was not the second in command for the company. He was upset that he was being blamed for production stats, that the production was down. He was upset that his plant manager apparently had resigned. He was upset that some of the policy changes that were coming into play that would affect his plant. These are the things that he was coming home and complaining about. Literally, he would complain. He started complaining Monday. By Friday, he said, you know what, if they continue doing this, then I just need to find another job. He was like, I think I'm gonna call my homeboy that I work with at Apple, and I'm gonna see, you know, what they have available. Yes, there were red flags going up. Of course there were. At this point, we're not even dealing with United Nations of red flags.
He's willing to step down from a VP position at his current job to go back and work at Apple. Now, I'm not saying Apple don't pay no money, because depending on what you do in Apple, you know, you do make money, but you're going to go from a VP to Apple? I guess.
Dealing with the Olympics. We are dealing with the parade of all nations. Everybody got a red flag. So when he said that, I was kind of like, okay, because I had become numb to all the antics that he did. I was numb to it. So he literally said, I think I'm gonna call my homeboy and I'm gonna see what's at Apple. My response to him was, well, what about your salary? Would you take a pay cut? He was like, no, I'm not gonna take a pay cut. Like, I wouldn't leave unless it's gonna be the same amount or more money.
Okay.
Y'all, the next week, last week of April, I'm at work, minding my own business. He calls me and tells me, I've decided to resign. You what? I've decided to resign. Don't worry. Don't get all crazy. I had talked to my homeboy. There is a position at Apple, and I'm on my way there now to go and meet him so that I can get some information on the position. We're married, y'all. We're married. So what I said to him was, well, will you get all this in writing? His words to me were, of course I'm going to get it in writing. I'm not stupid. You know what? I don't even want to talk to you no more. Click. That's the end of April. So that is how I was introduced to this Apple job. Again, if you stick with this series, you will find out exactly what happened. But that's how I was introduced to the Apple job. It literally was in a span of within 2 weeks. And he resigned from the condiment company and immediately said, I'm going to move over to Apple. Just wanted to clarify that. So we will continue on.
Now, what do y'all think? Me personally, I would have been upset if my husband resigned without letting me know that he was going to resign that day. Not only that, most men, they will secure, well, hell, most people, but most men will secure another job before they quit their old job. Men are the providers. They normally get another job before they leave the other one. I would have been upset. All right, y'all, number 39, here we go. Yes, me too, Glenn.
Part 39, who the fuck did I marry? Everything you're going to hear probably in this part and the next part, all of this happens in the month of July, 2021. Divorce has been filed. It was filed the end of June. I got his signature on the divorce settlement agreement. I thought that I had to wait 30 days before I could actually file that with the court. And so this is kind of in the limbo period because I'm still within those 30 days. So he left a book bag at the house, book bag that had all kind of paperwork in there. Inside the book bag, this is the paperwork that I found. Number one, I found a packet from the condiment company where it showed his 401k contributions. It also stated in there that he had been terminated. So he was terminated from the condiment company according to the paperwork in the packet that I saw in the book bag that he left at my house. Also in the book bag were paycheck stubs from a previous job where he worked at a cemetery. The same cemetery that he took me to show me where his grandmother and grandfather were buried. So let's go ahead. I'll do this video and say this is what he told me. This is what I confirmed. He told me his grandmother and grandfather were buried there. He showed me a headstone with a family name on it. If you go back in previous parts, I talk about it. The truth is they are not buried there. He is of no relation to the people who are buried at that particular gravesite. Only reason why he knew about it is because he had worked there. Also in the book bag, it was a copy of a driver's license that he had. The address on the driver's.
Who lies about that? Who lies about a what?
License. Now this I still don't have an answer to, but the address on the driver's license was the same address as the cemetery because I looked it up on Google. Also,
so he had his address on his driver's license. The address was to the cemetery. Is that what you just said? His address on the driver's license was to the cemetery? What the fuck?
in the book bag was paperwork from another construction company job, meaning it was paycheck stubs from another construction company here in Atlanta that he had worked for. It did not have dates on it, so I don't know when he worked for the construction company. Also in the book bag paperwork was unemployment paperwork. So it looked like he had been receiving unemployment just before I met him. I met him in March. It looked like he had been receiving unemployment January and February. So once again, let's confirm. He did not work for the condiment company for 6 to 7 years. Also in there were scraps of paper from a temp agency where it was information on the job that he had been placed at. Where was that job? The condiment company. He would be a forklift / loader is what it said.
Are you effing kidding me? So he wasn't a VP for productions? He's a forklift driver? What? She was married to a forklift driver? I mean, ain't nothing wrong with it, but I'm just saying. VP sounds so much better, don't it?
So I interpret that to mean he can drive a forklift, but he would have been loading up the 18-wheelers for them to go out to their deliveries. Also in this book bag was paperwork from Clayton County courts, I believe, for a weekend, what is it called? A weekender jail. It was like a weekender jail receipt. So I had to do some research. So apparently what that means is that there is an option where if you have a job, let's say you were sentenced to 60 days in jail, but you have a full-time job. Apparently the court can say, okay, you'll go to jail on the weekends. So in other words, you have to report to the jail on Friday at 5 o'clock and you'll be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You will get out Sunday at 6 o'clock. Apparently that's actually a real thing. So what was in the book bag were multiple yellow receipts for different weekends that he had to report and get out of jail. Last but not least,
while they were married?
there were some additional pictures, and then there were some, and when I say pictures, I'm talking about family photos. And then there was another additional copy of his driver's license with the Douglasville address. I looked up that address. The name associated with that address was the same name as the ex-girlfriend that he had in between the ex-wife and me. If you go back to the video where I talk about the conversation I had with the ex-wife, she tells me that the address was going to come back to the ex-girlfriend. I'm simply saying that is correct. So what she told me is true. So because of everything that I found, I decided to go down a new rabbit hole. Again, just recapping what I said in previous videos. Ex-husband was always a stickler about law enforcement. His dad was a retired police officer. I'm just telling y'all the story. His dad was a retired police officer. Mom was a retired teacher.
Oh my God.
After his dad retired, they moved to Augusta, started a church. He took me to that church in Augusta. The same day that he took me to meet his aunt who lived in Augusta. So these are now things that he actually took me to, just like he took me to the cemetery. So that's what I found in the book bag. The Weekender jail receipts.
Girl, you better not.
I went ahead and went online to find out exactly why did he have to go to jail for the weekend. And I'm going to end this part here. The next part has to do with his criminal history.
Y'all, she better not come back and say that this joker was going to weekend jail while they was married. Now, because I'm going to be like, wait a minute, where were you? Because what was he telling her? But maybe not. Maybe this was before her. But she still should have known about that. She said it's called work release. I hope she do not come back and say this joker was in weekend jail while they was together, honey. She said, I think it was before they were married. Oh, okay. She said, I wouldn't believe him if his tongue came, what'd you say? Knocks the ride, whatever that means. Listen. She got punked for real. She really got punked. She really got punked. Let's find out what happened next. This is a hot mess, ain't it though? This is number I can't remember. 40.
40. Who the fuck did I marry?
Who did you
So
marry?
we are now at the point of July 2021. We're at the point where I've spoken to the female cousin, and she gave me the phone number for the older brother. For the purposes of this video, we're going to call him Chris. Chris was very nice. I called him. He was gracious. He was willing to answer whatever questions I had. And what he said to me was, he said, my brother has always been a liar. He's always been a liar. He said, but ask me what questions you have and I'll confirm what's real and what's not. First question I had was, when was the last time you spoke to him? Without missing a beat, Chris says, 2015, just after our mother's funeral. I explained to him about the phone calls, the fact that Legion would be on the phone for 35 minutes, laughing, talking to Chris, relaying messages from Chris to me, and relaying messages from me to Chris. Without missing a beat, Chris says he was never talking to me. And he said, now I am going to say this. Maybe he was on the phone, but he was not on the phone with me. He said, because he knows that if I ever see him, I'm going to whoop his ass. And I'm laughing because obviously Legion loves to say I'm going to whoop somebody's ass. So for the people who are confused, like, wait, what does this mean about the phone calls? What this means is every single time that my ex-husband was on the phone, holding his phone like this, talking, laughing, cracking jokes. Hey,
That's crazy.
my wife said that, you know, we can go later on this evening and all this other stuff. Every time they were doing things like that, every time he was having a phone call or conversation that he claims to be with Chris, no one is on the phone.
Oh my.
No one's on the phone. That is what that means. So I'm on the phone with Chris. My mind is spinning. It is blowing up like a volcano. I mean,
I can only imagine.
I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy because what this means is that for the past 4 or 5 months, every morning that he is having a phone call with his brother Chris, I am now understanding in real time that that phone call was completely fake. So Chris tells me maybe he was talking to somebody else, but it wasn't me. He said the only family member that Legion actually talks to is the twin. And that's only because for some reason, I guess it's their twins, he helps him out when he needs it. Legion only calls the twin when he needs money. And the twin, according to Chris, now this is the part that might blow some minds. The twin brother, the one that is older by 20 minutes, is VP of his company, is married, drives a luxury car, and lives in like a 4 or 5 bedroom house in Nashville.
So he was faking it.
So Chris is saying to me,
or maybe he was faking it, or maybe he was trying to plot to take over his brother's life. What y'all think about that? Maybe his intentions was to try to take over his brother's life. I don't know. If he can lie like that, he could be dangerous. He can do some dangerous, scary type stuff. I think so. What do y'all think? You think he was trying to set himself up to replace his brother? I think so.
He was like, it sounds like he took the identity of the twin and was trying to act like that's his life. And it's not. He was like, that nigga ain't never had no money, ain't never kept a job a long period of time. And he was like, and you're telling me that he claims he was VP of a company? And so he was like, did you ever see anything? Did you ever meet people like Chris? I respect the fact that he was asking me the same questions y'all are asking me. Did you ever meet any family members? And I told him, I said, I met your aunt. Well, what aunt is that? I told him her name. He said, that ain't our damn aunt. I don't know if y'all have ever dealt with people from Philly. So he was just loud. He was like, that ain't our aunt. He said, that is our mother's best friend. And I don't trust that hoe. I'm sorry. It's the way he said it that it makes me laugh. Anyway, he's like, I don't trust her. I don't trust her at all. She is not our aunt. She was our mother's best friend when our mother was living in Augusta. She's not our aunt. So then I explained to him about the other brothers. The brothers, remember, there were 2 half brothers from his dad. One lived in Baltimore, one lived in Augusta. Chris is on the phone saying, I don't know who them niggas are. They ain't related to us. He said, our dad never had other kids. He was like, so you mean to tell me this nigga going around telling people that our dad had kids on our mom? And I said to him, well, the way he actually put it is that the 2 brothers came before y'all. He was like, hell no. No. So then I explained to him about the sisters. He was like, who the hell is Shantae? And I was like, Shantae, again, I'm just telling you what I was told. Shantae is a sister that lives in Douglasville, married with 2 kids. He was like, no, we don't have a sister. Told him about Kim. He was like, Kim's not our sister. She's a cousin. And he said to me, and I know she ain't talked to him in forever in 2 days. He said, so everyone, the only people who are his family members is Chris and the twin. He's like, we got some cousins up here. I told him about Junebug. I told him about the uncle. I told him about the grandmother. And he's just sitting back like, oh my God. He said, he was like, I realized that every relationship my brother gets in, he gets worse. And it sounds like he is actually worse than what he was in the last relationship. And I thought he was talking about the ex-wife that I had spoken to. No, he had no idea there was another wife.
What?
Because again, he hasn't spoken to him since 2015.
Oh,
so he was like, the best thing I can say to you is this. He said, thank God you ain't have kids with him. He said, get your divorce and forget you ever met this man. And he was like, and I know how that sounds because he's my brother. He said, but if I didn't have to claim him, I wouldn't. And I said to him something that I should have probably said in this whole TikTok series. This is not someone that you forget. This is not a situation that, you know, man, I don't even remember him. No. What I don't remember is the version of myself before I met him, because nothing so far has turned out to be true. The only thing that Chris was able to tell me is true is that, number one, yes, there is a brother in Philly, him. Yes, there is a brother in Nashville, the twin. Yes, both parents are deceased. That is what I was told from the beginning. Those pieces of information are true. The grandmother did die in 2008. He was like, no, she definitely didn't die in 2020. I told him how I found the obituary. And so he was like, and the uncle, he said, which uncle is he talking about? Because if you guys remember, back in one of the parts, I talk about where he said his uncle was giving him advice on why he should not open up his savings account to let me see it. He would not let me see it. And so I'm telling Chris about the uncle, and he was like, that uncle been dead for years. I told him about Junebug. He said, Junebug been dead for years. And I said, Chris, he was having conversations with Junebug on the phone in front of me. He was like, it wasn't Junebug. He said, it sounds like my brother was making up the conversations. He said, he definitely was making up the conversations with me. He said, hell no, I ain't gonna be on the phone at no 6 o'clock in the morning. So the conversation with Chris solidified that this is the actual family tree. And no, there were never any conversations with his brother every morning when I was getting ready to go to work. They had never talked. On to the next part.
Man, I just don't know what I would do, honey. Woo, Lord, honey. I don't even know if I would want to ever even talk to him again.
Part 41.
Like, I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would feel sorry for him or if I just would want him to go on by this way and never speak to me again. I don't know if I would hate him, but like I would want, like the first wife, I would want to be so far away from him. Like, don't mention him around me, like at all, you know? Mental illness, yes, at its finest.
Who the fuck did I marry?
41, y'all.
This is a continuation of my conversation with Chris, which will then lead into some other stuff. So Chris has confirmed that he has not spoken to Legion since 2015. So now we know that the phone calls that Legion was having every morning on the phone with Chris when we were, you know, getting ready to go to work, the phone calls were fake. I demonstrated in the last video how I think he, you know, how he was doing those phone calls. Because he would relay messages from me to whoever was on the phone. So Chris and I also then talked about their parents. So if you remember in the beginning, I told you from the get-go, this man was, you know, very respectful of law enforcement because his dad was a retired Philadelphia police officer. The mom was a retired. And And so he had the utmost respect for law enforcement. That's what he used to always say. Because, again, there's a lot that he lied about. So I'm trying to only highlight the big things because, truthfully, it got to a point where when he would say that as a VP in his company, he had a meeting with the local sheriff. Child, we know that's a lie, so I don't even need to go into detail about that because, again, why? So I told Chris what Legion said about their dad being a retired police officer, and I was explaining how he said the mom was a retired teacher. So Chris listened. Again, very gracious, very nice guy. He listened, and he was like, so are you ready for me to tell you what's true and what's not? And at this point, I was already convinced I was going to be drinking heavily that night after this phone call. So I was like, go ahead. All right. So here's what Legion said. Legion said, my dad was a retired police officer with Philadelphia PD. When he retired, he and my mom moved to Augusta. I was there for high school, and they started a church. He took me to that church in Augusta and showed me where the church that they started. The truth. Dad, according to Chris, their dad was nowhere near the church. That man ain't go to church on Easter. He ain't go to church on Christmas. He was like, my dad he ain't stepped foot in the church since the day he got married. That was the last time he went to church. He ain't have nothing to do with church. He said that their father was the furthest thing from a pastor. And he was like, I love my dad, but that man drank, smoked, and he was not a pastor. The mom was not a retired teacher. She did substitute teach at one point, but she was not a retired teacher. The dad was a truck driver. And not only was the dad a truck driver, at one point, he was a correctional officer. And so I said to Chris, I was like, I said I had no idea, of course. I had no idea. So now we know the truth. The dad was never in law enforcement. And I'm not knocking correction officers. I want to make very clear, because I know that sometimes people that work in law enforcement feel like, look, when I'm out there patrolling.
A correction officer is law enforcement, isn't it? I think it is. You have a gun and a bunch of other weapons. That's law enforcement. You got to go to training for it. I think it is law enforcement.
That is not the same as being a correction officer, and correction officers may feel the same. So I just want to give the distinction between the two. So the dad at one point was a correction officer. However, his primary career was a truck driver. And so the dad would do long hauls. So Chris is explaining, no. He was like, now that's funny. He said, if you knew our dad, you would understand how funny that is to even insinuate that he was a pastor. And so I told him about the church that we went to. He was like, oh, okay. So he took you to a church in Augusta and told you that was our parents' church. He was like, now our mom used to go to church, every now and then. But he said, our dad ain't been to church since the day he married mom. So the church that Legion took me to and said that his parents started that church, that was not true. So he just took me on a field trip for nothing, basically. So I told him about the weekend, because I did tell Chris where I worked. And that is when Chris said to me, because at the time I worked in a law enforcement agency. And he said to me, now how does that work? He said, because Legion, he done been in trouble a few times. And I was like, what do you mean? Because I had not yet gone online into the court system to see what type of trouble he's been in. And so he explained to me, he was like, just run his criminal history and you'll see it for yourself. He said, because I don't know all the charges, but run his criminal history. I said, okay. He gave me some homework. I'll run his criminal history. So again, he cleared up a lot of stuff in regards to the family dynamics. He did explain to me that yes, he does have a daughter. He and his ex-wife are divorced. And I said, well, Legion would talk about the niece, meaning Chris's daughter, and would send her stuff for her birthday. And he was like, he said, I'm almost positive my brother never sent anything for my daughter's birthday. And I explained to him, I said, isn't your daughter's name Egypt? He said, no. Who the hell is Egypt? And I said, I was told that was your daughter's name. That's the reason why I'm saying the name on here, because obviously we're about to confirm that's not the daughter. So I said, I was told that's your daughter's name. I said, I went with him to Rack Room Shoes and bought shoes for what I was told was your daughter. And she lived in St. Louis with your ex-wife. He said, no. He said, my daughter and my ex-wife do not live in St. Louis. He said, I don't know who Egypt is. He was like, are you sure it wasn't for a woman? And I said, well, it was kids' shoes.
I said, stand up or something.
And he was like, no.
Y'all watching me.
And I told him, I said, I went to the UPS store, I mailed it, and it, you know, they printed the label with the girl's name on it, and I'm thinking this whole time it's Legion's niece. Chris is like, I don't know who that is. That's not even the name of one of our cousins. So I have no idea, ladies and gentlemen, who my ex-husband was buying girl shoes for and had me sending them, telling me it's for his niece.
Who would you send them
I have no idea. So Chris is like, yeah, he finally said to me the same thing the ex-wife said, which is pretty much whatever he told you is a lie. And I'm being honest with you guys. It is very hard to comprehend that everything is a lie. Like, there has to be something that's true. I'm like, how was he paying? If he wasn't working at the condiment company, or he got fired from the condiment company, how was he still paying the bills? Keep in mind, we never joined our accounts. He wanted to, but we never did, because he wouldn't show me the offshore, the savings account, which of course never existed. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, I know that I saw his checking account, I know that I saw his savings account, and he had money in there. Something had to be true. Something had to be true. And Chris was like, no. He said, it sounds like everything my brother said, everything that he told you was made up. He said, those phone calls were definitely made up. He said, I don't know who Egypt is. That's not any family member of ours. I don't know who Shantae is. We don't have a sister. He said, we don't have half brothers. He was like, I'm telling you who the family members are. He said, I am so sorry that my brother put you through this. So now let's go into the next part.
So I'm just wondering, I wonder, what did he tell any truth about anything the entire time? Anything? She saw paperwork, copies of somebody else's bank. She said, she's doing a lot. Where's the family? It's just weird. I mean, shit, she should have been checked his ass from the beginning, at least stand up and check him. Exactly. Push back on something. She said, so is the brother even telling the truth? All right, let's go. She said the only truth he told was he would pay the bills. He would pay the bills. Please tell me them bills got paid some type of way. Honestly, I don't think he's a sophisticated liar, because if you listen to the lies and the truth as she discovered, it wasn't nothing new. He just put a spin to most places he's been / familiar. Truth mixed with lies are still lies. Ooh, girl, say that. He did pay the bills. Okay, he did pay the bills. Okay, okay. I thought she was gonna come back and say he didn't pay the bills, and they was going to the cemetery, and he was burying them bills.
Part 42. Who the fuck did I marry? So I finished going through the book bag. Still July of 2021. I finished going through the book bag. There were some other folders with papers in there. He had left the work phone. What I actually found out was that it was not a work phone. It was simply a secondary personal phone. He told me it was a work phone. I thought that the company was paying for the work phone. That's what I thought. No, because I found receipts where basically, and I didn't know this, ladies and gentlemen, I had no idea, but I found receipts where it was a prepaid phone and he's paying to add minutes to it. So it's just receipts of, you added minutes to the phone on this date. You added minutes on that date. Prepaid. So the work phone whole thing, that was a bold-faced lie. Obviously, it was a lie because, as we now know, he was a forklift loader. So the work phone that he's been walking around with was really just a secondary phone.
Shakima, girl, you hit that on the nose. I believe that when she saw the money, she wanted to stick around too. You hear me? She saw the money and she like, this joker said he got $750,000 and she didn't want to miss out on those $750K. You hear me, baby? That's what I think too. That's why she put up with that bullshit. She thought she had her baller is what she thought. I'm serious, y'all.
He had left the phone. He took his personal phone, meaning the main phone, I should say, but the work phone he left. So I'm going through the work phone, just trying to find some sort of answer. Now what is really burning in my mind is how is it that he had all this money in the accounts, but again, the last time I saw him, he's living in his car. Like, the math is not mathing. I go into not just the photos of the work phone. I go into the deleted folder. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to go through somebody's phone, which I will never do again, but if you're going to go through the phone, don't just go through the text messages and the pictures. Go into the deleted folder, because sometimes you find a gold mine. In this case, I went into the deleted folder of the pictures in the work phone. I keep saying work phones because, again, this is just a secondary phone. It is deactivated. There's no minutes on it. So I go into the deleted pictures, and what I see is what looks like a screenshot of his checking account, the one that I saw with the available balance. Then there's another photo of the screenshot of the savings that he showed me. Now, one of two things it could be. Either one, it's not real and it was pulled offline, or two, he took a screenshot of his own account and saved the photos. So this is when I got introduced to reverse Google image search. I did a reverse Google image search. Sure enough, as you probably have figured out, some of you, because I read it in the comments, what he showed me when he turned his phone around, showing me his available checking account balance, was nothing more than a screenshot that he had found on Google. When he showed me his savings, turned the phone around, because remember, I demonstrated for y'all how he was, and then, showed it, turned it around and showed it to me as if he was signing in. When he did that, he was simply showing me a screenshot that he had taken from Google Images.
Oh my goodness.
Because when I did a reverse Google image search with those two photos, the checking and the savings, it came right up.
Goodness.
It was nothing more than just Google Images. in my phone, I didn't even need this because, again, I already knew that he was not a VP regional manager, but still, for shits and giggles, I did a reverse image search of the charcoal BMW. Remember, I told y'all he had sent me pictures of the company car. Nothing more than a screenshot he had taken off of Google Images. The house that he showed me that he had in San Diego, Google Images. So, what we can now confirm is anything he showed me when he's turning his phone around is nothing more than an image from Google Images at this point. The checking account, the savings account, Google Images. The house, Google Images. The company car, that charcoal gray BMW 5 Series, Google Images. So at this point, I realized, okay.
I thought she test drove the blue BMW. How was that a Google image? If she test drove that bad boy, I thought she test drove that.
Nothing is real. And I wasn't so much in a rage, to be honest with you. I wasn't in a rage then and there.
Oh, you know what? That car was, she didn't test that car, the blue BMW, that was the company's car, right? I think the blue BMW was the company's car, because I thought that's what she said she wanted, but maybe that was the company's car.
As much as it was, I really truly had a moment where I said to myself, oh my God, what the fuck have I let in my life? Like, this is not even human at this point. That's really how I felt. Like, again, as someone who, I studied psychology, but I didn't graduate with a psychology degree. However, I have never dealt with a pathological liar. I have studied about them, but I have never come into contact with a pathological liar. Because to a compulsive liar, if you ask them, man, why did you lie to me? They probably are going to have a reason. Pathological liars don't have a reason. Like, there's no limit to the lie. So I have now confirmed that at least 70% of everything that I thought I knew is now absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. So in between all of this, I get a phone call from the aunt in Augusta. The aunt in Augusta, who Chris has confirmed is the mother's best friend. She is not their mother's sister or dad's sister. She's the best friend of the deceased mom. She calls me, and this is the one I have met. This is the one that Chris was like, I don't trust that hoe, anyway. So she called because she wanted to know what happened. She wasn't trying to be nosy or messy or anything like that. She's just trying to find out what happened because apparently Legion is trying to come stay with her. So she asked me, sweet lady, but she said, what happened with you guys? And I told her we're getting a divorce. I said, because he lied to me a lot. He lied to me a lot. And so what breaks my heart about the conversation with her is that she said, so whatever happened to the baby? Mind you, we went to Augusta, told her I was pregnant. I thought he told her that I had had a miscarriage. He didn't. He never told this woman I had a miscarriage. So she informs me, this is what she tells me. So now we're confirming something else. She tells me that on at least 5 times while I'm at work, Legion was driving to Augusta and telling her that he was going to visit the church of where the parents allegedly the church that the parents started. And I was like, what do you mean he went to Augusta? She said, I've seen him like 4 or 5 times. He's come down here, and each time I've asked him to bring the baby. And I said, what baby? And she said, the baby that y'all had. He told me that y'all had a baby boy. And I said, no, ma'am. I said, I had a miscarriage in June of 2020. And she said, oh my God. Oh, you know, she was doing that whole thing. She said, this whole time, he told me that y'all had a son in January. And I have been asking him for pictures. I have been asking him to bring both of you down here so I could meet him. And he always had an excuse as to why he wouldn't bring the baby. And the last time he was in Augusta, he said that he was leaving you and he was taking the baby with him and that you were at work. I am not making this up. That is what that woman told me. And I just was like, no, ma'am. None of that is true. There is no baby. I said I had no idea he was going to Augusta. Next part.
This joker done lied about a whole damn child. A son. Oh my God, y'all. What else can he possibly lie about? He can't lie about nothing else. Nothing else. She really did. Let me tell you something, Kayshawn. If she was my friend, she probably wouldn't like me because I would be like, girl, is something wrong with you? Like, you don't see all that? Like, come on, for real. We would have been did a background check on that joker. A real one. See, I'm the type of girl that I pull up too, so she should have pulled up to his job. Man, woo, Jesus. Kayshawn said she stayed because she thought he really had $699 in that offshore account. In that offshore account, okay. Yeah, she thought he had money. Exactly. Pulled up, no hesitation whatsoever. Tough love, but I would have cussed her out like, girl, you deserve better. Yeah, okay.
Part 43, who the fuck did I marry? So after the conversation with the aunt, again, she's telling me that Legion has been keeping up this lie that we had a son. I let her know, no ma'am, there was no baby. We did not have a baby. And I said, I thought that he told you. And she said, he's told a few people that you all had a baby. And she said, because I know some people were trying to send a gift to celebrate the birth. I didn't know anything about that. Didn't know anything about that. So she said, he's trying to come stay with me. She said, but I don't think I want him to, again, she's an older lady. She's like, I don't think I want him to come here because I don't really want to get involved with his divorce again. And I said, what do you mean again? I said, are you talking about the previous wife? And I said the previous ex-wife's name. She said, I don't know who that is. I'm talking about Latanya, that one, the first one. And I said, well, what happened? Do y'all remember I said in my previous video that I read their divorce records. He had filed for divorce and they had a temporary protection order against each other. I said that. So now the aunt is on the phone saying that she had to go to court and testify on Legion's behalf in regards to the temporary protective order. And I was like, well, what happened? She said they got into a fight with each other. And she slapped him. And I said, well, do you know why they got into a fight? And she said, yeah, apparently he had lied to the wife and it was something major and they got into a physical fight. And she said that woman almost beat his behind. And so he asked the court for a temporary protective order. So now I'm just getting the backstory on how that TPO was even came into play. So I told her, I said, you know, Miss Christy, we'll call her. I said, you don't have to worry about that. I said, we're not, he's already signed the paperwork. We're not fighting. I don't have it in me. I don't. So I said, I'm not going to tell you not to have certain people in your home, but I am going to tell you that I'm just barely kind of discovering exactly what the lies are in regards to Legion. So if you feel comfortable having him in your home, then do it. I said, but I am going forward with this divorce, and once the divorce is final, I will have nothing to do with him. And I said, and I'm so sorry, you know, that he lied to you, and kind of pulled at your heartstrings in regards to a baby. I said, there is no baby. So she said, so y'all are really getting a divorce? I said, and I didn't want to cuss to the older ladies, but I said, yes, ma'am. We are. We are. And so we get off the phone. Also during this time, Legion would call me every now and then. Legion had no idea. I've spoken to his ex-wife. I've spoken to his brother. I've spoken to his female cousin. He had no idea. I have now, if we want to go through real quick and talk about what we can confirm. We can confirm that there is no sister. We already knew there was no baby. There was no VP job. Again, he was a temp, and apparently he was making decent money. So what I believe, and this is just what I think off of putting pieces together, I think that he made enough money to pay the household bills, because it wasn't as if the household bills were so expensive. He made enough money to live on his own. But instead of him living on his own, he's living with me. So we can also confirm that when he told me that he was paying his car off and he called the dealership and paid his car off, we can confirm that that's a lie. That story will come up later on. So pretty much at this point, the only thing I know to be true, his name, his date of birth, the secondary social security number that was on my background check, and that he has 2 brothers and the parents are deceased. At this point in time of July 2021, that is all that's all that I was able to confirm that to be true. So later on, Legion calls me. He calls me because he wants some money. He just needs a little bit of money to hold him over till payday. And so we're on the phone. The call, again, I was recording all my calls at the time. We're on the phone, and I finally kind of confronted him, number one, about having a twin. That's when he tells me, you know, I don't know why I lied, but I don't really talk about him. Number 2, I asked him why did he get fired from the condiment company. His story is that he got fired because he had helped a truck driver and he was not supposed to. I know it's a lie. Y'all don't even have to tell me. I know it's a lie. Number 3, I asked him, why did you tell your aunt that we had a baby? He claims he never told her that, and that she's old and she didn't know what she was talking about. So then I asked him if he was ever in trouble where he's been arrested. And he said, yeah, I've been arrested as a juvenile, but my father had my record expunged. I said, were you ever arrested as an adult? He said, nah, I ain't never been arrested as an adult. I said, so you never went to weekend jail? He said, no, I don't even know what that is. So he doesn't know what weekend jail is. That's his story. And so he was still standing by the lies he told me. So finally, I just asked him, and this is where let me just say it. I asked him, why the hell did you even marry me? Like, why? Why did you even marry me? Because you easily could have just stayed dating or been the boyfriend or just moved on with your life. Like, you didn't have to marry me. You didn't have to pull me into a marriage and make me think that this is what you wanted. This is what he said to me on that phone call. He said, I had to marry you. And I was like, no, you didn't. He said, yes, I did. He said, I knew full well from day one that there was no way you were going to stay my girlfriend for longer than a year. He said, I knew it. He said, I knew in order to keep you, I was going to have to marry you. Y'all, my jaw hit the ground. I could not believe he said that. And he said it so matter of fact. And I was like, that is the most fucked up thing you could ever say.
She said that's the most effed up thing you could ever say. He didn't say because I love you and I wanted to be with you, darling. The only thing he said is because I didn't want to lose you. Who else I was gonna run to? Wasn't nobody else gonna believe me, baby. Wasn't nobody else gonna hold me down, baby. You was safe, baby. That's what he was really saying. Ooh, Lord, child. Episode 44.
Part 44. Who the fuck did I marry? The videos that you saw earlier were filmed earlier today. And yes, I'm aware. It was brought to my attention. I had to make a decision whether or not to finish, keep my word, or stop, disappear. I mean, disappear.
Disappear, girl.
Okay. Let's finish. So, first of all, let me say this. It is not easy telling this story. It's entertaining. I know it's gone viral. But it is not easy telling this story. I made a decision to tell this story. I made a decision to share my story, what I went through, in hopes that it helps just one person. But I would be remiss if I didn't tell you all, it is not easy telling this story, to relive it, to face certain things out loud that I had to face internally. Just want to say that. So I will push forward to finish, but today got to me. The toll of this got to me today. So I know that you all are like, we're waiting on the next part. We're waiting on the next part. I appreciate that and I get it. Because if I was in those shoes, I would be waiting too and be like, where is it? So I understand that. But the toll was real today. All right, so with that being said, we are still in July of 2021. I talked to the brother.
I know I said I'm going to go to 50, but because we got out to a late start, I'm going to stop at this one, 44. And then tomorrow morning, y'all going to already be up. So when I get up tomorrow morning, I am going to play 45 through 50. And then there's going to be a little stragglers that I'm going to play as well. But I'm only going to go to this one right here tonight, okay? Since we got out to a late start.
Chris, I talked to the aunt. I talked to all these people. And now was the time where I had saw the receipts for the weekend jail type thing. So I went ahead and did a search for his criminal history. I ran his criminal history. I did that on my own at home with my money. So this was not, I think someone had asked if I did anything with my job. No, I did not. I know better. So I ran a criminal history, or I paid for a criminal background report.
Girl,
for him to say that he appreciates law enforcement so much, it was obviously a lie, because the criminal history showed that he had been arrested for criminal trespassing. He had been arrested for like suspended license, suspended registration. But the big thing was impersonating an officer. If you don't know anything about impersonating an officer, it is a felony. Period, point blank. As sure as Peachtree runs from Bankhead to Buckhead, it is a felony. So, seeing that, seeing what court it was in, I did another open records request for the incident report. I wanted to know exactly what the circumstances were, especially given the fact that I worked in law enforcement at the time. What were the circumstances as to how he was arrested for impersonating an officer? So I did an open records request. I got the incident report, and I'm tired of saying my jaw hit the floor. But on this one, my jaw hit the fucking floor. I respect law enforcement. Again, I was working in an agency with a lot of great men and women. Basically, what the incident report, and I'm paraphrasing it because I don't have it sitting in front of me. Basically, what the incident report shows is that he pretended to be an officer using a badge. I later found out it was the badge that his dad had as a former correction officer.
Oh.
Same last name. So he was pretending to be a police officer at an apartment complex on the south side of Atlanta, and proceeded to tell people that he was an investigator and he was looking for drugs. He also proceeded to try to pat down someone, and then also proceeded to try to go into a woman's apartment and do a search. This is in the incident report. So naturally, the woman who he was trying to get into her apartment to do a search happened to either work with or worked at a local police department. So she just simply called her coworkers or called her homeboys or whatever.
Oh my God.
And so he was subsequently arrested and subsequently was charged and found guilty.
Is that what the weekend?
That is what I found in his criminal record report.
That was weekend.
It is fair to note, had I known that he had a criminal history, we never would have even finished date number 1.
Yeah.
Some things I'm just not going to get involved with if I know from the rip. So what does this mean? Again, we've been going over what's the lie, what can you confirm? I can confirm that there was no way that this man ever had a passport to take me to London. When he claimed that he was voting in the election, there's no way that he did, because he tried to tell me that he was still a registered voter in California and that he did it online. I knew it was a lie, but again, at this point in July, I'm able to confirm that, yeah, you never had a passport. You never voted. The small things that mean something to me, he never did it. He wasn't eligible to. So now I know that not only have you, yes, been arrested. Now, what happened as a juvenile, I don't care. But you have been arrested. You have done some sort of time. And now it explains why you knew your way around the county so well. If you go back to the previous videos, I had mentioned that I was wondering, how do you know your way around here? And the story was his sister used to live in this county, and he would come visit when he would fly in from California, when he would go see his parents in Augusta. That was the story.
Oh, liar.
So that explains the criminal history. And I'm also going to take you guys back and remind you when I had to go in for my polygraph, and how the polygrapher had asked me, do you know anyone that is a convicted felon that you have relationships with, blah, blah, blah. And remember, I said to him, my husband and I are estranged. I honestly don't know. Fast forward to July, where I find out that, yes, in fact, on top of everything, I was married to a convicted felon. Had no idea. Mm-hmm. No idea whatsoever. And it's nothing but the grace of God that I was honest with the polygrapher and telling him, look, I don't know what's in this man's background. To say that I have no idea who I married is an understatement. It is a complete understatement. It's fair to say, well, you only knew him for like 2.5 weeks before you quarantined with him. That's fair. And I can understand that, and I take responsibility for that. But in the big scheme of things, I had no idea the creature that I was sleeping next to every night. No idea.
Woo! Child, honey. He was a creature for sure, or is. Lord, she been through some stuff. We're going to stop right here. Let me adjust. We stopped at, what number did we just stop at? I think it was 44. Yeah, 44. So we're going to stop at 44 right here. We're going to start 45, but I'm going to go and lay with Jay, honey. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. It said, oh, it told me I got to change it later. Okay. I'm going to take a shower and lay with Jay for a little bit, and I'm coming back tomorrow morning. It'll be y'all afternoon, my morning, because she got some other inserts from here and there, and you got him speaking out and this, that, and the other. So we're going to cover the last 5 segments, so 40, 45 through 50, but we also going to throw some sidebars, you know, the girlfriend or the ex-girlfriend, the ex-wife, you know, different people saying this and this and this about him, okay? She said, you married the wrong turn, girl. So yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stop here and we're gonna do that. And she said, unfortunately, people miss red flags, especially when intimacy is introduced too early in the relationship. But you know what? I think the lady name was Shakima. Shakima and Kayshawn kind of think along the lines that I think. I do believe that, do I believe she's a victim? I believe that she was naive and took advantage of, but I believe she also thought that there was a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. She thought there was a pot of gold. And when she found out that it was a pot of coal instead of a pot of gold, then she wanted out. Because she was willing to put up with his lies and his fuckery when she thought he had money. When she realized that he really wasn't no baller shot caller, she wanted out. She wanted out. But I ain't gonna lie, I would have wanted out too. Oh, yes, I would have. Now, if he was a baller shot caller, I probably would have had to stay around for a few years so I can get half of that bag. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I would have gotten rid of him. Well, first of all, I wouldn't have moved as fast as she did in the first place. But I think it was some things that he did along the line that would have made me want to check out early. Money or no money, check out totally. Right here. Yep, exactly. She thought she hit that damn jackpot. She did. I'm gonna tell you, money will make you put up with a little bit more. Look at former President Trump's wife, and she ain't the only one. Look at what's his name, Giovanni's wife. He looked like a Gargamel, and you know he got a decent looking woman. Yep, and her way to London and Paris. She thought she was going to London and Paris for real. That's fair to say, Amore, and not sounding too judgy. I like the way you put it. Yeah, you know, she ain't. I don't think, you know, she sounds like an intelligent woman, but you know, she was on some other stuff. She like, well, you know, he got a couple of dollars. You know, I might be able to let some shit slide. You know, I might be able to get over a few lies. You know what I mean? But you ain't gonna be, you know, I have a friend that told me, she said, if a man gonna cheat, how did she say it? No. She said, if a man gonna be broke, he better know how to put it down in the bedroom. She said, yeah, no, it was, if he gonna be broke, he need to be able to put it down in the bedroom. She said, if he can put it down in the bedroom, I don't care if he make minimum wage. I think she said $8 an hour is what she said. But she said, but you can't be both broke and bad in bed. Nah, bad combination. Bad combination. And I'm just saying, he's a liar and he broke. Girl, bye. Bye. You broke and a liar? You can't be both. You just can't be both. He a liar, a cheater, and he broke, sunshine. Don't forget that. And he broke. And he broke. Well, he was able to pay the bills when he had that temp job. He got fired from the temp job and got the company car all over the place. What's really going on? So we're going to stop here, y'all. Look, we're going to stop here. We're going to pick back up tomorrow. I don't know exactly what time, but I will announce it on my Facebook page. So just be on the lookout, okay? And let's get back into it tomorrow before y'all hit them streets. I heard it was cold on the East Coast, so I don't know how much streets y'all going to get into tomorrow. But I'm going to try for the next 20 minutes to fix this Cash App thing. And then I'll let y'all know about it tomorrow, okay? Love y'all. We already been on for 2 hours and 22 minutes. So I'll talk to y'all later. Good night. Bye.